Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Yesterday we lost 1-0 to Southampton at St Mary's, and it's not time to panic, but it's one of those things where you look at that performance and you go, oh my god, if we play like that in multiple games this season, there is a chance we are in those three unspeakable places. Three unspeakable places at the bottom of the league. I don't know why my brain went then, it's early. I caught the second half because in the first half I wasn't available to watch the game, but the commentators were saying, look, Leeds have been dreadful today, everything's been going wrong, and Southampton have been all over them, and it's really surprising that they haven't scored yet. So obviously it was 0-0 at half time. Let's preface before we go into the second half. Bamford out, Calvin Phillips out, Rafinha out, Junior Firpo out. These are, maybe Junior Firpo aside, but he is our starting left back. Let's take the other three of the most important players for Bielsa's system to work were out yesterday, and it's not good for us really. When you take those players out of the team, we suddenly become a team that could be a lot lower down the table, which is why we need to invest. And I think we need to invest now in January, given the way that things are going. So in the second half, so we came into the game a little bit more towards the start of the second half, and we were actually getting on top, and we were having an attack. Then we had a corner in which we were on the attack. They broke from and scored through Brozier. I think he's on loan from Chelsea at Southampton. So it was almost against the run of play in that moment, but for the whole game, they vastly outclassed us, and we just were not good enough yesterday. And after that goal went in, we never really looked much like scoring. We were giving sloppy passes away. It was one of the worst performances I've seen under Bielsa. I'm hesitant to say the worst because we have had a few stinkers in there, but it was one of the worst performances. And really, it's not acceptable for a performance at that level. And the players know that, obviously. You don't want to pick out anyone in particular, but I just want to say that obviously Radrizzani had his tweet where somebody said, where's our new central midfielder, where's our new signing? And he replied, Adam Forshaw, which everybody agrees was a bad decision to tweet that. But when Forshaw did come on and finally get his chance to play in the Premier League again, he was a little bit sloppy, and it's expected. I can't blame him. He's been out for the best part of 2 years. And so he was sloppy, and multiple times he gave the ball away because his speed of thought and his speed of actually moving the ball just wasn't there. And so, he just was a bit sloppy. I mean, Dan James, whilst he had that chance where he ran down Salisu, took it off him and just missed, other than that, he obviously he's lightning quick, so he's always got that. He's always going to work hard, but the quality just wasn't there. Same for Jack Harrison. I only really saw him whip one really good ball in the box, and that was the one that Alex McCarthy was able to palm away to his defender. But you can't say that we deserved anything more than a loss from that game, to be honest. We didn't create anything hardly, and the one thing that Leeds are known for under Bielsa is creating things. So we really need Rafinha, Bamford and Phillips back in the side for that creative inspiration. Now, we have got a couple of games that you would say were a little bit easier in the next few weeks. We've got Wolves and Norwich. We have to win those games. We really have to win those games, because at the moment we are worrying, and we're worrying me quite a lot. We were not at the races yesterday at all. Absolutely dreadful performance, and the players know this. I mean, Cooper said in his after the game in his interview that you can't go giving first half performances like that. It's not acceptable in the Premier League, and so everybody knows that, and it's something that we're just going to have to move on from, because there's no point dwelling on it, because it was a terrible performance. But we have the quality, we have the players to be able to win games like that. And even without those players that we've got in there, we should be contesting more than we did. It shouldn't have been. It should have been more than 1-0 really. So yeah, those are worrying signs, and I think, like I've said, we do need to invest in January. Radrizzani needs to cough up a little bit, and Orta and Bielsa get their heads together and find out who they can get for a good price in January to shore up that midfield, and maybe just take a bit of the weight off some of the other players. The other thing I want to talk about is to just not use. Let's just not use Tyler Roberts and Rodrigo as a scapegoat. For yesterday's performance, because it wasn't just them, it was everyone. And I know that I picked out Forshaw and Dan James, so I'll pick out some more players. Yeah, Rodrigo wasn't great, neither was Tyler Roberts, but then Dallas wasn't great. He kept giving the ball away. Click had a lot of wayward passes. The whole team wasn't on it yesterday, so let's not pick one or two of our players, because after all, they are our players and we are supposed to support them to the end. But let's just take a step back and have a bit of perspective and realise that the whole team played badly. So it doesn't matter if you don't like Tyler Roberts or Rodrigo. It's not their fault that the whole team played badly. It's a collective thing. We win as a team, we lose as a team, we draw as a team. It's not, oh, let's blame it all on one player, because that's what tends to happen on Twitter after a loss. People lose their heads and they start having a go at some certain players. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Let's not use a scapegoat. Everyone was bad yesterday. Let's learn from it, move on, and get some wins on the board against the next two opponents. And let's not forget as well, although we've lost to Southampton, we've drawn to Burnley and Newcastle, other than that we have had a tough start. And even going away to those teams is still a tough game for a team that was newly promoted last season. So let's temper that against our expectations, because just because we got ninth last season does not mean that we're going to be able to stretch for Europe this season. Often you'll have a big bounce in your first season, the adrenaline of, oh, we're in the Premier League, we've got a big team every week. Well, not every week, you know what I mean, so we've played Burnley. That was uncalled for. But you know what I mean, don't you? When you do that, when you first come up and you're playing against these Premier League established teams, that's exciting every week. You've got the adrenaline to go for it. But when you're in your second season, it's that, right, let's do it again now. But there's not quite the same feeling there every week. So let's just get a few points on the board. Hopefully we just sort of stabilise our season, get one or two players in January, and just try and solidify our Premier League place. And then in the summer we can get somebody else in and we can start to build this squad back to where we want it to be. So that's my thoughts on the game yesterday and on the current state of things. So thanks very much for watching. Like if you like the video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.